And now I think what I'll do is I'll just kind of load up a custom game myself, and we'll try to put a more streamlined build order in place and see how it will do against the Protoss. And just we'll take note on the Protoss here. He did come in with 11 Stalkers. He's got 29 Harvesters, 1 base. And this is at the 8-minute mark. And I think this is right after he blinked up. Yeah, so he blinked up at the 8-minute mark. Also notice if you had the bunker here, and I always keep a repairing SCV as well, which would have helped a lot here. All these Stalkers would have been in trouble, because if you notice, only 4 of them are actually inside the base. All the rest of them are either their blink failed and they didn't get inside, or they're still at the bottom of the ramp. So to get the rest up, he's either going to have to like run away down here and then blink up the Stalkers from the low grounds, or he's going to have to sit here and just attack and wait for the blink to refresh so he can blink more of them up. And that can be some tough micro, and he may end up losing a couple of units he shouldn't have. And there's also a better way to attack, but I think I'll save that little talk for when I do the custom match. Alright, so let's give this build order a try.
Big job,
huh? One thing I did forget to mention is Field got the range upgrade for the engineering bay for range on the fortress and missile turrets. Now I know I mentioned a lot that that's like a really nice upgrade to have. However, I don't always get it, and I want to give you a little rule set on when to get and when not to. I would say versus Zerg always get it, because on most maps, oops, I forgot my supply depot. Talking and playing at the same time.
Bad news.
On most maps, it's going to help you a lot versus the Bailing Bust.
You scared me.
And on all maps, it'll help you later on versus the Muta Harass. Though if it's one of the maps where it won't help you versus Bailing Bust, you can wait a little while before you get it. In fact, I wouldn't suggest waiting, because there's so much stuff you want to get from the engineering bay. On top of that, I would just go ahead and get it right away. However, versus Protoss, I wouldn't get it unless you're playing on Steps of War, just because it doesn't have a whole lot of use unless you're facing, say, Void Rays. And the reason I say get it on Steps of War is just that it gives you, like, awesome coverage on your ramp. The ramp is so close to the fortress that in getting the range upgrade, it basically protects you from any sort of run-by attempt. Another thing I want to talk about is I had an old video called like how to get minerals quicker early game, and everything in that video is wrong basically. First I was talking about a glitch, which wasn't wrong, but that you can abuse, but yeah, that glitch has been kind of fixed since then. And then the other half was I was talking about which patches to double up on first. And I was under the assumption that 2 SCVs slightly oversaturate a patch, when in fact it's the opposite. 2 SCVs don't quite saturate a patch. So, whoops, look at my fortress here. Yeah, so in fact you want to double up on the closest patches first, not the furthest away ones.
Big job, huh?
Oh. Kind of screw up this builder, huh? Not a big deal, I don't think. It's actually best I don't have a perfect build order here anyways, because I don't want to say, well, you can beat Blink Stalkers if you do everything absolutely perfect, because, you know, if anything like me, you don't do everything absolutely perfect every time.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
Bad news.
So put 5 on gas total.
SCV ready.
Additional supply depots required.
Alright, so that one goes back. Oops, I'm actually going to pull off a couple one SCV for a while, because I usually chase around the probe, so I'm just going to mimic that. And this one's going to go on a scout mission. At this point you can pull one or two guys off gas. Depends how much gas you want to pool, because you will be stockpiling gas at this point to be pulled a few. I think I have like 3 maybe on gas. I'll pull this guy back. I'll assume the probe's gone at this point, so he's done his little defense.
Big job, huh? Yep.
And I always leave an SCV here on auto repair.
Upgrade complete.
Huh? SCV ready. SCV ready.
I don't know what's going on here. So I transfer.
Armed and ready.
I usually get Tech Lab on my second one. And this is also around the point I would have scouted the Protoss. So if you see multiple gateways, you want to get at least 2 Tech Labs.
SCV ready. Who wants some? Gotcha. SCV ready.
I got Stim. Probably time to get some guys back on gas.
Gangway coming through.
Oops, did supply cap myself there. So I may as well spend extra energy on concussion shells.
SCV ready.
And those reactors take forever to build.
Let's have a... Oh, it's on.
Alright, let's stop the game here and we'll come back in the replay. Okay, so I've loaded up the replay and I've stopped it right at the 8-minute mark, as you can see in the top right. And we're just going to kind of review how we would do. So remember, the Protoss opponent had 29 Harvesters. You can see that I actually have 34. And if you look at my Fortress and Orbital, it's just about to be 36. So on top of that Harvester lead, we also have 16 mineral patches where he only has 8 active. Plus we have mules. So I can more or less conclude that if his Stalker Rush fails here, we've just basically got the game wrapped up economically. Another way of saying that is he has to do damage with his Stalker Rush here or we win the game. So how would the Stalkers fare? So remember, we had 11 Stalkers, and he blinked in up in this zone. So remember, he's going to take like a pot shot or 2 from the Fortress, and when he blinks up, he's not going to be able to get all his Stalkers up in the first blink. Maybe he can, but it would take pretty good micro. He only got 4 up last time, remember. But let's just say he got like 8 Stalkers on the high ground, 3 got left on the low ground. That's still going to have a lot of problems versus this front line here, because we have a bunker full of Marines. We got 4 Marauders, and we got an SCV on auto repair. So if he just sat here and fought, I think he'd maybe barely win, maybe even lose. I'm not quite sure. But I think the first step I would do once he starts attacking here would be to grab a handful of SCVs and move them up here. And I'd probably switch into auto repair as well. Just in case he starts focus firing this bunker, the SCVs will arrive in time to save it on top of the existing one. And if he doesn't focus fire the bunker, then all your SCVs will just charge in and start attacking. And the combination of fighting with your SCVs will win that battle. after I send the SCVs, probably my next step would be either be to control click the Marauders and shift control the bunker. That way I can start focus firing. Or maybe I just let everything A move and I just start pulling back Marauders that are getting focused by him. I don't know. It's to be kind of chaotic at the time, so I'd probably just do whatever first popped in my head. Now, if you're a little smarter and didn't fight up here, where I think you would get slaughtered, he might pull down to, say, this zone, and he might pull those like 3 extra Stalkers down here and blink them up to the high ground as well. So now he's outside of the range of the bunker. So what I would do here is I'd probably move all my units back into like this zone area. So I'd probably drop this supply depot, empty this bunker, move all my Marines and Marauders, say back to here, or maybe right in the minerals, maybe back to here. Same with my barracks. I would rally point them over to here, and then I would just kind of sit back and wait, because for every second he's not attacking me, I'm getting ahead, more or less. Because my reinforcements are right here, where his reinforcements are very difficult to bring in. He would have to find his pylon, warp in a bunch of the Stalkers, move them over to the edge of the high ground, make sure he has sight on the high ground, and blink them up, all while trying to micro his army. So I would say you'd probably expect to never see this army reinforced, and if it is, you can expect him to have some glitches in his micro in doing so. So yeah, so if he sits back here and just picks on like the tech lab, say, or the barracks, I mean, just basically just wait for your next round to reinforce him, and the next round of reinforcements from your barracks, and then just charge him and kill him. If he decides to move in and go, try to harass the economy, which he really needs to do, then that's why it's nice to have all these units back here. Not only does it buy a lot of time, but then you can just kind of box off like this and just A move, and sending a bunch of SCVs with your ranged units, you'll be able to take them down quite easily. And just SCVs do pretty good damage. I mean, 5 damage per attack every 1.5 seconds. And they soak up a decent amount of damage too, as they're 45 hit points. So, yeah, and then with all your DPS behind being ranged units, you'll find you'll do quite well. And let's just say, like, worst case scenario, let's say before you finish off his force, he kills off all your Marauders and kills, I don't know, 10 SCVs as well. Which, honestly, I think if that happened, you did something wrong. But even if it did happen, that would knock us down to 24 Harvesters. Remember, we're just about at 26. So we'd be just behind him in Harvester count. We'd still have the 2 command centers to his 1 Nexus, still have 2 saturated bases to his 1, and we'd have mules on the field. So I would still say we're well ahead economically. And now we shut down his rush, we can just exploit that lead later on. Yeah, so I would say we're in good shape here by just tweaking Fialoran's build a little bit. Remember, no need for an early scout when you're doing the fast expand, as you won't really need any early information. I would say it's scout with the SCV that creates the planetary fortress. Range upgrade from Engineering Bay, I'd say always get it versus Zerg, because it's good versus Bailing Bus on most maps and always good versus Mutas. But versus Protoss, never get it unless you see Void Rays, or unless you're on Steps of War, just because it covers your ramp so well. Just be cautious of your building placement. There's really no reason to be building stuff at the edge of your base this early in the game unless you're expecting a drop. And you don't want to create like a bad wall off in your own base that it hurts you. And don't build missile turrets unless you need a reason for it. And then the build order after your planetary fortress should be bunker, pump Marines from your existing barracks. Don't get an add-on on it yet. So bunker, Marine, orbital. And then while the orbital is building, you can throw down your 2nd and 3rd barracks. And then you can decide on the add-ons after that, based on what you have scouted. And you'll find you'll still be able to stay alive because you got this bunker with a Marine or 2. So it's okay to have a little bit later 2nd and 3rd barracks, and the early orbital will help pay for the 2nd and 3rd barracks. Will help pay for pumping units from them anyways, because you'll get that mule out so much faster. And yeah, I would say you can see with these tweaks we are able to hold off that extremely fast Blink Stalker rush. So thanks again to Fialoran. Kudos to him for implementing my build order basically perfectly, and for trying to break the build order, and for letting me kind of, in watching someone else do my build, or it just gave me ideas to talk about certain things that I never thought about talking about before. And thanks everyone for watching.